Good morning. Welcome to this channel, Gray Cloudy Day. I'm Gray Cloud, Sage of the Eternal Moment. I have tried to do this video a couple of times, but let's just see how this goes. It's going to be a Jesus Calling video, but I want to make a statement at the beginning of this video, and I will probably make a video separate from this that is making this statement for the channel. Gray Cloud is not a preacher. I've never claimed to be. I am not an authority on any of this stuff. It's all just me reading, learning as I go. I'm learning what I've learned in my life based on my experiences. And I found here recently, I never would have imagined that such sharing things that are positive in nature and spiritual could turn into sometimes people being confused or maybe controversial to them, not me. I'm just making this statement because I am just me, Gray Cloud. Yeah, once known as a man named Jason, still am on paper. I've never lied about that. I've always been transparent. I'm open. I have flaws. I've been mentioning this quite a bit over the past several months. I always bring it back to I miss the mark every day. If you think you don't miss the mark, then I'd like to shake your hand and see. But most of us probably do. I think all of us. Doesn't mean you don't keep trying to do better. But I'm not trying to point at everything everybody else I think is doing something wrong. Sometimes I am making judgments. But I think when we are if we're acknowledging what we think someone else is doing wrong, more so, and that's prevalent in this day and age. Everybody wants to look at what everybody else might be doing and thinking, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. Well, that takes away from us looking at ourselves and what maybe we should or shouldn't be doing. And that's just a simple fact. I'm 51 years old. I'm comfortable with my life. I'm comfortable with my relationship with the Creator. Now, if you think of, when I say Creator, that it's particularly, however it is that you see it, you might not be right about that. I don't know, because I'm not you. I'm only talking about me. And I'm not a preacher. I'm not an authority other than I'm authority at my experience in my life as Gray Cloud and the earlier years when I didn't know any better. So, that being said, let's get into this reading. I know some of you don't like it when I babble on for 3 minutes before I read this Jesus Calling. But I'm not here to I'm not trying to be specific to any certain audience. I'm just hitting record and doing things. If you were to watch my channel, go back a few years ago, before I ever shared any of this, a lot of my videos were just me open, just talking. And I would talk about God, but I would talk about God in a very broad sense. I don't like to keep God in a box by any means. I can't. I don't think anybody can. Let's just get into this. July 12th. Whenever you feel distant from me, whisper my name in loving trust. This simple prayer can restore your awareness of my presence. My name is constantly abused in the world, where people use it as a curse word. This verbal assault reaches all the way to heaven. Every word is heard and recorded. When you trustingly whisper my name, my aching ears are soothed. The grating rancor of the world's blasphemies cannot compete with a trusting child's utterance. Jesus. The power of my name to bless both you and me is beyond your understanding. And I don't mean to sound at the beginning, if that sounded, I'm not being mean or rude. I'm just wanting people to understand. If you're watching my channel, don't look up to me as something that is somebody that can give you advice based on life experience. But if you're thinking that, and all I know is I feel that I was compelled to share this because I'm being told today, like we may have a transition period here where I'm not reading from a devotional for a few days, if not for a week or two. I just shared this in the community. It's called Dark Night of the Soul. It's a classic like poem. I guess you can read this, and I don't know. I'm interested. It's by St. John of the Cross, a classic in the literature of mysticism by St. John the Cross. You know, I'd heard about this a while back. Somebody that, you know, I probably heard about it in my life, but I finally got it's an old copy. I'm going to start trying to look through this and read it. Based on I'm pretty sure it's going to be something that helps. Because from my understanding, it's about some of the trials and tribulations we may go through with our faith and stuff sometimes. And it's termed, sometimes we go through what they call a dark night of the soul. And Mike Maranatha, who is a good friend, or I feel is a good friend, and who has a YouTube channel, has some videos on this stuff. And it's also goes into Carl Jung, who was like in psychiatry and stuff, but he studied a lot of things and some things that dealt with religion and spirituality and everything. And it gets into the dark night of the soul. He's who taught me a little bit about, Mike taught me about metanoia. It's like when you have you're going through sort of a period in your life that could be considered the dark night of the soul, and you have this spiritual awakening through certain moments that were distressful, or you were in a dark place, but you come out of it somewhere more in the light. So I'm feeling, and I haven't decided because it's not really up to me, but in the next day or two, I'm just going to try to figure out, I'm trying to figure out what's being shown to me this morning and told to me how to navigate this. That I may do another day or so. Like I was thinking tomorrow might be the last time I read from this, and then starting Monday, it may be that I'm just getting up and making some morning videos, like just talking to you guys for a brief moment before we even think about going into Jesus always, and giving me time to start maybe getting to this. And I'm not even thinking about what may happen the next few days with my arm. I am considering today going into the ER, possibly if the pain increases throughout the day and I can finally, I'm not going to call the ambulance, hopefully, or nothing. I don't think it'll be that bad, but if I can just get a simple ride there and someone can wait on me while I have it checked out, I might do that, but I don't know. Right now, it's not bothering me. It was when I first kind of started moving around. Now it's not. But I've been kind of having some thoughts and communion before I did this video. And I know this is going into some long detail, but if you've watched the channel for any time, I just feel like I need to share this. Part of this is also due to yesterday in a live stream. And I know there are some scriptures that I can read to you from the reference. Let's do this real quick. Proverbs 18, verse 10. The name of the Lord is a strong fortress. The godly run to him and are safe. And thinking of this reading about cursing, I too have issues sometimes where I am using curse words. I have cursed at God before. And, you know, I have my reconciliations with God all the time. I'm just trying to shoot straight and say, I am not anything that should be put up on a pedestal. You know, I'm far from, like, I still smoke pot. I struggle with drinking. Thank the Lord right now that I am almost a month again sober. So, you know, like I was kind of saying yesterday, like on the live stream, some spiritual stuff happened. The presence of Christ was actually with me at the moment. The Spirit was flowing. I did use some cuss words yesterday on the live stream. I have it restricted now to the 18 and above. It wasn't that we got foul or nothing. It's just sometimes we were cussing a little bit. Things were going pretty good. But there were some spiritual things that happened And if you watch that and you happen to see it, whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter to me, because I had the experience. Other people were watching, and other people that were on with me, you know. So I'm just trying to address this stuff because I don't want anybody having the wrong idea, and I've never done anything but be real. So, you know, I just don't want you to, if you have some other idea of me other than what I present, there's nothing I can do about that. And I understand I'm probably going to lose a few subscribers just because because I'm open. And I'm not going to worry about that because that's not the intention. I do think it's cool the channel is growing. But if me sometimes sharing other things about my connection to God, how I came about, the things that I do consider okay and some people don't, well, you can't please everybody. Like I said, it amazes me time and time again that I've had people complain about Jesus calling, and I think, well, what is, I usually try not to address it. Like you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter what I'm sharing. There's going to always be someone that isn't necessarily going to agree or like it or believe that I'm doing things correctly. And I'm not here to try to walk a line for anybody other than myself and in my life through my own spiritual understanding and my connection to what God is. Sorry, guys, I just had to say this stuff, and I hope you lasted this long with me, but, if you didn't, no big deal. We're going to go to Acts real quick, and I'm going to read Acts 4, verse 12. There is salvation in no one else. There is no other name in all of heaven for people to call on to save them. John 16, verse 24. Father, I want these whom you've given me to be with me so they can see my glory. You gave me the glory because you loved me even before the world began. Okay. I guess what the main message has been for me, if you've watched this long, from yesterday to today, I have received the understanding that I need to be more bold about, God is cool. I have a relationship with the Creator, and I'm supposed to not, if I know certain things that if I'm speaking and someone's trying to place judgment upon me, and if Big Kahuna's cool about things that sometimes are going on, I'm not to worry about what other people think. And that's a hard lesson in life, and I've tried to be that way most of my life. I've always been a rebel. But, when you put yourself out there on the internet and everything, it can be a little bit distressing sometimes or overwhelming. But that's the strongest message for me here lately. Stay in the moment, but also that, like I said in another video, even if I didn't share anything about God, there's going to be something I'm sharing that people are going to come. But I'm just me, and I like to share about some of the spiritual life and the things that do help me. But I want to make it clear, I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional preacher. I'm not a preacher. If anything, maybe I'm sort of a guide or I could be a teacher of some sort, but I'm not an expert at any of it. It's all trial and error. A lot of this type of stuff is when it comes to the spiritual side of life. It's trial and error, and you seek it out. Anyway, I hope y'all have, like I said, we're not done. We're not done. It's just in the next day or two, I'm waiting to see where the direction is going to guide me. And so Monday might start off with a video that morning, but I might not be reading anything. I may just be doing some just talking and sharing insights. And especially if I've been able to get started on this. Now, depending on what happens between now and Monday, also whether I go to the ER or if I wait till Monday to call and get an appointment, which I should have probably already done. But I'm trying, I'm hard-headed, and I'm trying to sometimes it's seeming like it's doing okay, but it's probably going to be something I have to have looked at and dealt with at some point. And, I feel some healing going on. And yesterday, some good energy was happening, and I felt like the presence giving me the right feel. Like during the live stream, I could tell that the spirit was moving, and it was like relieving the pain and all that. So it was nice to have a day where it wasn't so bad. And then, I dealt with it last night, and I'm dealing with it a little bit this morning. But right now, it's pretty good, and I'm just kind of winging the day. The video's a lot longer than I anticipated, and I didn't mean to just throw a lot in there, but I have to get this out there, and I hope that it makes sense to you guys. It's because there's some people that have watched the channel for a while, and I don't want to disgruntle anybody that significantly has watched and is a part of the community, but at the same time, I can't cater to just one or two people, and I'm not trying to cater to anybody. I've never done that. I try to be respectful, and I try to be, I did listen to some of you guys when I shifted from doing the videos a little differently. Someone kind of chimed in that they wanted me to go back to a certain way, and that's what I ended up doing, but I kept the scriptures, reading them, and, used to I didn't do that. So it's kind of like, I like to have some feedback, but in other words, I'm not chasing the algorithm, and, I would like to have I want the audience to be just as widespread as it has been. Very different type of people all across the board. People from all over the world, different places in the world, different faiths. It's not just Christian people that watch this channel. Well, you have mystical people, you have Hindu people, you have, people. I've had somebody in a live stream in the chat that was in Palestine watching the channel, talking about they had to get off there because bombs were going off. I welcome people, and as long as they're respectful, that's the main thing. Until next time, Mr. Gray Cloud, long-winded. Until next time, Gray Cloud, like I said, Mr. Gray Cloud. You done said it 3 times, Gray Cloud. Oh, now 4. Anyway, say to the eternal moment, over and out. Ditto.